Hello, YouTubers. I have a Saturday night special edition for you. Got lots of news piling up here, so I thought I'd go ahead and get it out to you so you're not sitting there wondering what's going on in the world. First item that I have for you is off of the allnewspipeline.com, and it says danger level goes up in America with Clintonistas back to the wall. Does this recent U.S. military purge foreshadow the final false flag? While the bombshell news story of the week that came on Friday telling us that the FBI had reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton after relevant emails were found on electronic devices of Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin left most Donald Trump supporters thrilled and Clinton's campaign in free-fall mode, we immediately realized these latest events also had the danger level in America going up considerably when all things are considered. While Hillary is on the ropes, and that's something that 65% or more of Americans really wanted to see, as that in itself would signify justice to all the people, not just us little people. If we think such a development will really prevent the globalists and the Clintonistas from completing their plans of burning down America, we have another thing coming. It's long been warned that a wild animal is at its most dangerous when its back is against the wall and they're backed into a corner. And with the globalists and Clintons now in that very position here in our country, we've been told by a well-trusted source to watch out for a final false flag to take America down upon the horizon. What form that final false flag might be is still up for debate, but as what was pointed out by several ANP readers yesterday after the FBI Clinton story broke, we may be moving closer to the chance that Obama might have to suspend the election altogether if Hillary is indicted. ANP has warned over and over again that if the globalists felt that there was no way that they could maintain their hold upon America by Hillary winning the election, they'd take down America by another means. And as we learn below, the real threat and danger to America may be much greater than just a suspended election, as we see Gary Heaven's warning from the movie Armageddon of a possible false flag taking down our electrical grid that leads to final takedown of America may be materializing before our eyes. From the story from the Daily Mail that was published on Friday, tells us that the death of U.S. Army two-star general that happened this past July has been ruled a suicide. The first suicide by an active duty Army general since the Army began keeping track of such statistics. Rossi was only 2 days away from a brand new job when he allegedly offed himself. However, as comments on this popular military story from August 2nd about Rossi's death tell us, those who are paying attention aren't buying it. With nearly every comment on the story blaming Hillary for Rossi's death, as seen in the screenshots above, which you can take a look at in this article, and below, the fact that Rossi was about to take a job at the U.S. Space and Missile Command Center should have sent up massive red flags back then, especially considering the ongoing military purge here in America that began soon after Barack Obama took office and recent threats by hostile nations to wipe America off the map by a space-based weapon system. Missed it since Barack Obama took office in 2009, an ongoing treasonous and criminal purge to top military officers who were beholden to the U.S. Constitution and not to Obama himself has been underway. As this 2015 story from Red Flag News told us, as the result of this ongoing purge, our military is crumbling. The 10th 2016 story from the American Thinker told us the U.S. military has been reduced to rubble and left floundering without a coherent strategy or meaningful capacity or capability to win wars. Their story also told us that Obama has nearly completed his purge of all of those within the U.S. military who sought victory, set up to take a massive fall. We have to ask, what did the U.S. General John Rossi know that the American people don't know? If Hillary has no chance of winning and the globalists keep control of America, they're planning on launching the kind of attack upon by Gary Hiven in his movie Armageddon, the kind of attack that Rossi would be responsible for stopping. From WMD says, imagine this. In the not so distant future, a large scale electromagnetic pulse or EMP attack on the U.S. energy grid wipes out all power in the country. Cease to function. No more phones, no internet, no TV. Credit cards become useless as the entire banking system grinds to a halt. Mere survival become every person's primary concern. Armageddon depicts a dystopia in which the American government reacts to a debilitating EMP strike by declaring martial law and stripping Americans of constitutional rights and their guns. And by the way, it was the U.S. government, in conjunction with the United Nations, that staged the EMP attack in the first place. Conspiracy theorist, but the fact that a healthy U.S. Army general commits suicide 2 days prior to taking a position with such importance to America's security as General Rossi's position was sends a loud and clear alarm. The U.S. Army Space and Missile Command Center conducts space and missile defense operations and produces planning, integration, control, and coordination of Army forces and capabilities in support of U.S. strategic command missions, strategic difference, integrated missile defense, and space operations, serves as Army force moderation proponent for space, high altitude, and global missile defense, operational interrogator for global missile defense, and conducts mission-related research and development in support of Army Title X responsibilities, according to their website. As many Americans know, the U.S. military takes an oath to defend the U.S. Constitution, not behold themselves to the U.S. president or those helping to run the show, such as Hillary Clinton. Is also sworn to protect the U.S. Constitution from all enemies, foreign as well as domestic, the enemies of America and the Constitution within. What happens if U.S. military members are ordered to do something against the U.S. Constitution and against the best interests of America and the American people by globalists who are also high-level U.S. government public servants like Obama or Clinton? And has the death of Rossi and the ongoing purge of high-ranking military officers in America been foreshadowing the final false flag? With America now having 100% proof that they are indeed preparing to steal this election and complete the process of desecrating our Constitution started by previous globalists sitting in the highest office in America, the fact that Hillary stated back in 2006 that the U.S. should have fixed the election in Palestine proves to us for the rule of law. And with their complete and total lawlessness now completely exposed for the entire world to see, thanks to WikiLeaks and the good men and women within the U.S. government who allegedly leaked Clinton DNC documents to the world, we see desperation in their eyes that could be a warning goes from here. According to this August of 2015 story from the GOP, the Daily Dose, Christians have been being systematically purged from the military by Obama in an ongoing effort throughout his term in office. During this same time period, as we reported on AMP, an ongoing Trojan horse invasion of America has been allowed to happen. Without a chance at a Hillary Clinton win, allowing them to continue their hold upon America, now have all their ducks in a line anyway, ready to overthrow this country by a false flag EMP attack blamed upon the nation such as North Korea or Russia, knowing that Obama has already purged those from the military who would be loyal to U.S. Constitution and American people. We take a look directly below at the recent from a woman who was warned long ago by God in a dream about what might soon happen to America. Since God gave this believing woman a dream 30 years ago that the Bible would be banned in America and possession of God's word would be a capital offense. And this is how it reads. It says, Steve, I just read the article about a pastor in Georgia that has been told to hand over his sermon and Bible. You are right when you noted that Bibles will be considered contraband. My husband and I have been married for 39 years. Many years ago, many years ago, over 30, I had a dream. And in this dream, we were smuggling Bibles into a city in the United States to an underground church. We had backpacks on, and there were military troops all over the place. We were crossing a street, and when we came to a crosswalk, a Bible fell out of my pack. We knew it was immediate imprisonment if you were caught with a Bible. We prayed that God would blind their eyes so the soldiers wouldn't see it. I picked it up, and on we went. It had dropped at their feet. When I woke, I prayed about it, and God told me this would happen, to start saving and collecting Bibles. We have. I have not forgotten this dream. Some people ask me about why I always get the Bibles at garage sales and thrift stores. When I share this dream I had, looked at me like I'm a nut. Of course, this couldn't happen in America. I have known in my heart to prepare for this day. Yes, sadly, it is upon us. May God bless you and yours and all of his people. I pray they don't wait too late. Thank you for being a watchman on the wall and for blowing the trumpet of warning. God has been warning his people for many years through you, and I'm glad for it. Signed, Annette. In the first video below, we hear Alex Jones talking with us about the globalist dream of burning down America if Hillary loses. While the second video, we hear a report on the death of Major General John Rossi that was recently ruled a suicide. In the third video below, we get 100% proof that this election is being rigged directly at the voting booth, giving us more proof that Clinton and the globalists will do anything they can to steal this election away from Trump and the American people. In the final video, from A Minute to Midnight, Pastor Steve Aiken tells Tony why he believes we're on the verge of a flag operation that will see a takedown of the internet and other communication systems. The New World Order really cannot tolerate voices of dissent, he says, and government is going to have to shut off access to the internet, or at least restrict it, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. With everything else that's happening now, especially after Friday's event, it's looking more and more like the elections may be the trigger that the globalists used to cause mass chaos. As we have warned on AMP, everything is now in play, including the fact that the global is in tatters and the Clintonistas seemingly blaming Russia for everything. While we have very little control over the world events, each and every one of us is responsible for our own actions. I hope you're reading this, Hillary, but our own preparation as well. If you think the government's going to save you, you haven't been paying attention. Pastor Steve Aiken also shares with Minute to Midnight what he feels we need to do to prepare for what's coming, economic collapse or election calamity, as we reach the home stretch. In this article, if you care to pull it up and take a look at them, all the URLs to everything that I read is always in the descriptions of my videos, so you can research or do whatever it is you would like to do. The next one is off of Daily Mail, and it says, Furious Clinton hits out at new FBI probe and demands that they reveal evidence without delay as 1,000 uninvestigated Hillary emails are found on laptop shared by Huma and Weiner after dailymail.com story. The highlights of this one are campaign holds sudden press conference in Des Moines after regular rally to deal with FBI bombshell. Furious Clinton lashed out at agency director James Comey, demanding he explain what has happened and publish all relevant material. That the new emails came from Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin's shared laptop, a rumor. At that point, her aide abruptly ended the press conference and she refused to engage with shouted questions. Comey's bombshell came in a week, which has seen her poll lead slashed and mounting questions over sleaze from her husband's business activities. So there's the highlights on that one, and if you want to take a look at it, there's a video in it and pictures and narrative and all that sort of thing. So you're welcome to take a look at that one at your leisure. The next one we have here is off of Regated.com. It says it's dangerous for Hillary Clinton to institute FBI is rigging the election. Florida, Hillary Clinton made comments on FBI Director Comey's letter to Congress. She claimed that how close to Election Day it's strange and deeply troubling. Is she insinuating that FBI is rigging the election? Playing with fire. The Democratic Party's nominee made claims that it's strange and deeply troubling. Such comments insinuating by the FBI is dangerous. This is in regard to the reopening of the email scandal investigation. These accusations by Clinton can have extreme damage toward the U.S. justice system and the FBI. And the insert in this says, well, if you're like me, you probably have a few questions about it. It's pretty strange. It's pretty strange to put something like that out with such little information right before an election. In fact, it's not just strange, it's unprecedented, and it's deeply troubling. Voters deserve to get full and complete facts, and so we've called on Director Comey to explain everything right away. Put it all out on the table, right? Now, of course, Donald Trump is really making up lies. And there was boos in the audience. He is doing his best to confuse, mislead, and discourage the American people. I think it's time for Donald Trump to stop fear-mongering, to stop disgracing himself, to stop attacking our democracy. We can't let him get away with this, can we? And that's what she said in her speech. It says Clinton then went on to blame Donald Trump for voters feeling hesitant to vote for her, claimed he was making up lies about FBI letter, doing his best to confuse voters. Democrats and media are starting to ask Clinton to step aside after the damage she brought to her party. Yet this comes after Donald Trump claimed this is a rigged election. The media and Democrats jumped on those claims, calling them dangerous. Donald Trump pulled back a bit on those comments and said this election may not be rigged as I thought in a recent rally. The Democrats are right in regards to Clinton, though. Such language is dangerous. What I have for you is off of BizPac Review. It says FBI agents refused to destroy Hillary's laptops per agreement. They still exist, says DeGeneva. Despite reports to the contrary, FBI agents may have never destroyed laptops they received from key Hillary Clinton aides. Fox News reported earlier this month that immunity deals for longtime Clinton aide Cheryl Mills and ex-campaign staffer Heather Samuelson included a side deal requiring the FBI to destroy their laptops after reviewing them, but Washington attorney Joe DeGeneva said Friday agents did not do so, the Daily Caller reported. Appearing on the David Webb Show on Sirius XM, agents involved in the investigation refused to destroy the laptops. According to the agreement reached with attorneys who handed over their laptops, the laptops were to be destroyed per the agreement after the testimony was given, DeGeneva explained. The Bureau and the department agreed to that. However, the laptops, contrary to published reports, were not destroyed, and the reason is the agents who are tasked with destroying them refused to do so, he claimed. And by the way, the laptops are at the FBI for inspection by Congress or federal courts. All Congress needs to do is ask for the devices. When I found out last Sunday that those laptops from somebody who is involved in the investigation by the FBI had not been destroyed contrary to published reports, I could not believe that the Republicans had not gotten their hands on them yet, he said. When FBI Director James Comey revealed Friday that the Bureau found new emails related to the probe of Hillary Clinton's private server, the discovery was reportedly the result of Huma Abedin sharing a laptop with her estranged husband, disgraced former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner. So there you go, connecting the dots. BizPac Review. Look who just filed a complaint against the FBI for interfering with the election. Against Trump filed a complaint Friday against FBI Director James Comey with the Department of Justice alleging interference with the 2016 presidential election. The coalition, an arm of the Keep America Great PAC, filed the complaint with the DOJ's Office of Professional Responsibility after Comey announced to Congress that that because of the new email discovery on Huma Abedin's electronic devices relevant to the Hillary Clinton email investigation, the agency would review those emails and assess their relevancy to the investigation. For Scott Dworkin, senior advisor to the Democratic coalition against Trump, the announcement is evidence that Comey, a registered Republican, is attempting to undermine Clinton's chances of taking the White House. It's absolutely absurd that FBI Director Comey would support Donald Trump like this with only 11 days to go before the election, Dworkin said in a statement. It is an obvious attack from a lifelong Republican who used to serve in the Bush White House just to undermine her campaign. Comey needs to focus on stopping terrorists and protecting America and not investigating our soon-to-be president-elect Hillary Clinton. The Democratic Coalition Against Trump has filed numerous complaints with federal agencies about figures connected to the 2016 election. On Monday, the group filed a complaint with the FBI against Donald Trump himself for allegedly violating the Voting Rights Act of 1965. In other words, the group thinks Trump has called for voter intimidation and suppression on a national level. Earlier in October, the group also filed a complaint against the Trump campaign and political strategist Roger Stone, saying both were involved with WikiLeaks and also a foreign government behind the hacks that lead to the release of emails from John Podesta, Clinton's campaign chair. Podesta referred to the FBI Friday's announcement as extraordinary. It is extraordinary that we would see something like this just 11 days out from the presidential election, Podesta said. The director owes it to the American people to immediately provide full details of what he is now examining. In July, after the FBI came to a conclusion on Clinton's private email server and said that no reasonable prosecutor would move forward with criminal charges, the Clinton campaign praised Comey as a well-respected Republican who served as George W. Bush's deputy attorney general. Brian Fallon, press secretary for the Clinton campaign, shamed the Republicans in September, particularly GOP Senator Chuck Grassley, for trying to bully the FBI into serving partisan interests. So there you have that. The next one we have here is off of BizPack Review. It says, watch disgusted Geraldo freak out over FBI Clinton probe. Let's just say he wasn't happy. Fox News personality Geraldo Rivera veritable meltdown as he discussed the FBI reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email shenanigans. Rivera said he was disgusted with the entire thing and accused FBI Director James Comey of making the announcement before the election to protect himself. This is the biggest cover your ass I've ever seen in modern politics or law enforcement, Rivera told guest host Eric Bolling. He was battered by the criticism from O'Reilly and others, and now he is responding. Rivera said it was impossible for Comey to release the details of what evidence he found prior to the election, and if he did, it would be worse. Are you going to release this now at 8 days, 7 days, 6 days, 5 days, 4 days before an election? Is the director of the FBI really going to determine who the 45th president of the United States is? He said. That's why I'm baffled by this. I'm disgusted by this, and it brings me to the point where I feel like abstaining from this election. And there is video in this if you'd like to take a look at that one. The next one we have is off of Regated.com, and it says James Comey wouldn't have updated Congress unless he had real dirt on Hillary. We're days away from the November 8th. James Comey of the Federal Bureau of Investigation has decided to reopen the Clinton case. What would prompt this so close to Election Day? Democrats praised James Comey after he decided not to push for indictment. Liberal mainstream media praised him as an unbiased, solid man. Then 11 days before the election, something popped up. James Comey felt it was necessary to alert Congress and the American people. Suddenly, the happy and loving Democrats shifted. Democrats began to trash James Comey after he decided not to wait until after the election. Liberal mainstream media said it conflicts with the election, calling him a Republican plant. If anything, this just proves how unbiased and how much of a solid man he is. If he were to wait after the election, he'd be called out by the Republicans for not releasing such sensitive information about a political candidate. This conversation can go either way, but one thing is obvious. If James Comey found anything, it must have been big enough to stake the election. There are several theories on why this would come out so close to Election Day. It's possible the FBI stumbled upon information through the Weiner investigation. This prompted the reboot of the Clinton email investigation with new information. FBI rank and file may have found sufficient evidence to indict Clinton, but because James Comey recommended against charges, there would have been internal revolt and backlash. It's possible with the new findings, investigators are pushing for proper indictment. U.S. Attorney for New York, Preet Bharara, is investigating the Clinton Foundation. It's possible that Bharara and his team stumbled upon classified information. This would force James Comey and the FBI to investigate further. WikiLeaks has been hinting that WikiLeaks has been hinting at a drop that will indict Hillary Clinton because these statements are weeks old. They may point to a November surprise for the election. This FBI may be acting early to cover their asses. WikiLeaks does have something to indict, or something indictment worthy. It seems Clinton's campaign will lose big league unless they have catastrophic dirt on Trump. Voters don't want a president who is under investigation by the FBI. Lukewarm Hillary Clinton supporters may not show up to the polls, unlike Donald Trump's army of supporters who will thunderously storm polling locations, rain or shine. Hillary has a long road ahead of her in gaining the trust of American voters. She only has a couple days to do that. Yikes. Next article I have for you is off of truthfeed.com. It says Clinton campaign circulated Paul Ryan relative as possible Supreme Court pick. Another reason as to why Ryan tried to sabotage Trump's campaign. Ryan circulated the name of one of Paul Ryan's relatives as a potential Supreme Court pick, suggesting a conflict of interest that could feed into the Republican Speaker of the House dislike for Donald Trump. An email released in Part 19 of WikiLeaks Podesta Dump features an article sent by Hillary's advisor Sarah Solo to Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta and Hillary's foreign policy advisor Jake Sullivan on February the 29th of 2016. The piece draws attention to Ketanji Brown Jackson, a judge on the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia. She was confirmed by without any Republican opposition in the Senate, not once, but twice. She was confirmed to her current position in 2013 by unanimous consent, that is, without any stated opposition. She was also previously confirmed unanimously to a seat on the U.S. Sentencing Commission, where she became vice chair, reads the email. Her family is impressive. She is married to a surgeon and has two young daughters. Her father is a retired lawyer and her mother is a retired school principal. Her brother was a police officer in the unit that was based for the television show The Wire and is now a law student, and she is related by marriage to Congressman and Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. And there's an insert in this that I'll read. It says, Ketanji Brown Jackson is a judge on the U.S. District Court for District of Columbia. She was confirmed by without any Republican opposition in the Senate, not once but twice. She is confirmed to her current position in 2013 by unanimous consent, that is, without any stated opposition. She was also previously confirmed unanimously to a seat on the U.S. Sentencing Commission, where she became vice chair. She is young, but not too young, 45, black woman. Her credentials are impeccable. She was a magna cum laude graduate of Harvard College and cum laude graduate of Harvard Law School. She clerked on the Supreme Court for Justice Stephen Breyer and had two other clerkships as well. As a lawyer before joining the Sentencing Commission, she had various jobs, including a public defender. Her family is impressive. She is married to a surgeon and has 2 young daughters. Her father's a retired lawyer and her mother's a retired school principal. Her brother was a police officer in the unit that was basis for the television show The Wire and is now a law student. And she is related by marriage to Congressman and Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. Earlier this month, Ryan said that he would no longer defend or campaign for Donald Trump. A poll released this week found that nearly 2/3 of Republicans trust Donald Trump more than Ryan to lead the GOP. Many Trump supporters speculated that Ryan was involved in the leaking of the infamous Billy Bush tape, in which Trump made lewd comments about women as part of a plot to sabotage the Republican nominee's campaign. Could the fact that one of his relatives is being touted as a likely Clinton Supreme Court pick be another reason as to why Ryan, who has been accused by many of being in bed with Washington establishment, has abandoned his support for Donald Trump? Next article I have is off of I I hate Hillary.com. I can't make this stuff up. And it says North Carolina Hillary supporters brag about voting for Hillary multiple times. Oh man, and there's all kinds of screenshots in this where they apparently are showing that they voted several times for her. It says it gives the first picture. It says he wasn't done yet. Check it out. And there's another picture where it shows more. And it says he went on to say, there isn't a need for you to wait in line anymore. Took care of it for you. Gave you straight Democratic ticket. Amazing how many addresses you get from Google, going again until Saturday and all next week, he says. Robert doesn't take voter fraud very seriously. He has since taken down the post and apologized for his mistakes. The internet isn't very forgiving, though. These posts he made are not going anywhere. Please like and share on Facebook and help us expose voter fraud going down in North Carolina, as if the Hillary Clinton lies weren't enough to deal with. Now there's loads of voter fraud Trump has to defeat. So, man, I mean, do something illegal and then post it on Facebook. Wow. He needs a brain cell checkup. The next one we have is off of usherald.com. It says, proof. Trump voters expose hard evidence proving their votes are being tossed out. As the election draws nearer and nearer, we keep hearing about more and more instances of voter fraud. And this is going to try to play something, and we got to try to stop that. Now stop. What's the matter with you? You don't want to listen to me. Okay. As the election draws nearer and nearer, we keep hearing about more and more instances of voter fraud all across the nation. Posted multiple videos of the Clinton campaign and their allies actively working to commit voter fraud. The left and the mainstream media continue to deny that this is taking place at all, but as more and more evidence keeps coming to light, it's becoming impossible for Now Donald Trump supporters just found one piece of evidence that proved beyond a doubt that voter fraud is indeed taking place. Recently, the Gateway Pundit received an email from an anonymous source who says she is a single Republican mother of 2 younger kids in a small town in Illinois. She explained a concerning series of events that took place with mail ballots and make sure to reach out to new outlets right away to make sure the country knows what is really taking place. Within my friends, I keep seeing and hearing of all these examples of voter fraud going right now with Trump supporters, she explained. There's 3 well-respected people within the same household in my town who mailed in their ballots in favor of Trump, went online to make sure their votes were counted, only to find they were not going to be counted because the signatures on the ballot didn't match those on their letter. And there's some inserts here of some letters, and there's some video in this. And the article goes on and says the online message does provide voters with the instructions on how to fix the signature problem, but as she pointed out, people are never going to be able, unless they go online and double check, which is something many male voters will not likely know how to do. Of small towns spread all across the country where this problem is likely taking place, involving an overwhelming number of votes, we need to make sure that the country is aware of this very real issue, or we may have to watch Hillary Clinton take the presidency because so many Republican voters' voices will not be heard. It says, please share and let other voters know before it's too late and Hillary takes the presidency. The next article that I have for you, we get it to work here. There we go. It's conservativetribune.com. CNN predicts 2 swing states are now trending toward Donald Trump. For the past couple of weeks, the mainstream media have pushed the narrative that Democrat presidential nominee Hillary Clinton already has the race for the White House won, and they've had plenty of manipulated poll results and colorful map graphics to prove it. But now, as the race enters the home stretch, polls have been tightening up and revealing a much closer race than had previously been reported, particularly in a handful of swing states that garner so much media attention. Even CNN sometimes refers to, with good reason, as Clinton News Network has admitted to changing electoral landscape. Take, for example, Florida and Nevada, which had been consistently labeled lean Democrat by CNN, but now have been shifted to the battleground category, according to The Hill. The shift was most likely due to a slew of new polls showing the race in Florida to be essentially tied, with some surveys placing Republican nominee Donald Trump up a couple points, while others still showed Clinton with a slight lead. The same holds true for Nevada. CNN also listed as battleground state places like Arizona, North Carolina, Ohio, Utah, even though Trump has shown consistent lead in a few of those toss-up states. CNN still predicted a Clinton win, though her possible margin of victory had contracted slightly from previous estimates. CNN suspected that Clinton already has the 270 electoral college votes necessary to win by the states they have labeled lean or solid Democrat. Conversely, it projected that Trump only had about 179 electoral votes in hand from similarly labeled Republican states, leaving about 87 electoral votes up for grabs. Of course, as always, the situation remains much more fluid than the media would like to let on, and things can change quite rapidly, particularly considering that Clinton appears to be sliding in many states, while Trump is steadily gaining ground across the country. So there you have that information. Wow, we're getting down to the wire, folks. Just a little over a week. I always like to leave this on a little bit of a higher note than what we deal with in the news, because the news always seems to be so negative and always, some kind of drama and fussing and fighting and all that. I like to bring you back to reality a little bit and get you out of the matrix. And I found a positive affirmation that I thought might be fitting. It says, I remind the people I care about, be the same without them. Letting loved ones know you care is a great way to keep them close. That goes for your friends too, not just, loved ones in your family. If you got people that you care about, let them know. It means a lot to people to know that you care. So step out tomorrow and let your friends know that you care about them. And if you see somebody that needs a little bit of help with something, give them a hand. Another thing that you might think about too, if look around your neighborhood and you see somebody's place that might not be quite up to snuff, maybe their yard needs mowed, or maybe they got some weeds that needs pulled, or bushes need trimmed, and leaves need raked, or just the little things around their place won't take you very long to to do just a little something nice for somebody. Knock on the door, check on them, see about them, see how they're doing. Say, hey, I'm your neighbor from down the street here, and I just noticed that, you got some weeds out here that need pulled. Do you need some help with that? Can I pull them weeds for you? Or, your bushes need trimmed up. You need a little help here, to help spruce your place up a little bit this fall. And I mean, what's the worst they can say? No, get off my porch. I mean, show a little kindness to people. You might be surprised on how grateful they'd be. You never know. Maybe they've been ill, or maybe they've had illness in their family or some kind of problem in their family where they haven't been able to get out and do it, or maybe their equipment's broke down. You don't know unless you check on them, instead of everybody in the neighborhood sticking their noses up in the air and being snooty about, oh, look at that place. They don't keep their place up. Go up there and offer your assistance. Help out in your neighborhoods wherever you can. You might be surprised how appreciated it would be. And with that, I'll turn you loose for this evening, and I hope you have a wonderful evening and a great day tomorrow. Bye.